Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to be taking a quick look at the new LANEIGE layering lip bars. Now these come in this shiny rounded pink chrome packaging, very pretty. Now here is the original two-tone lip bar. You can see it has a color indicator on the bottom. It has the usual silver and white LANEIGE colors, logo on the front, and this push mechanism to get the lipstick out of the tube. You can see each tube has two shades. And it's the same thing with the matte bars and the tint bars. They all have two colors in each tube and the same push mechanism with color indicators on the bottom. So the layering lip bars are the only ones where the presentation is slightly different. The layering lip bars come in 20 shades. They retail at Singapore $39 each, and shades 1 to 14 are creamy and 15 to 20 are matte. So there are 14 creamy shades and 6 matte shades in total. I have to admit, when I first heard of the layering lip bars, I thought, a bit of a gimmick, because why go to the trouble of filling a lipstick 6 times per shade just to get 6 different layers? And then I remembered that one of the issues that I used to have with some of the two-tone lip bars were the ones where the contrast was very big between the pale and the deep shades. So what this means is when you are trying to smooth it in and get a nice gradient, you often have to go back in with a finger or just the tube itself and finesse it around for quite a while before getting a very nice soft gradational effect. But with a 6-tone, 6-layer lip bar, technically speaking, you should get a very smooth blend without having to go back in with a finger just to smooth things out. Now, I've already tried one of these shades on the other day, and I will say that texture-wise, this is very creamy, and they just have a more high-end, more luxe feel on the lips. I also have pretty dry lips, so on certain occasions when my lips were feeling a little bit more chapped and I wore the two-tone lip bars, I would find myself, flaking just a little bit, and then the color would go patchy and gather in certain areas. The new formula seems to keep my lips comfortable a little bit longer. Obviously, these are not meant to be long-wear lipsticks. You will need to touch up after eating and drinking, and you want to preserve that nice gradient effect anyway, so I do highly recommend bringing these out to touch up. The one good thing is, with these 6 layers of color and the nice gradient they already have in the tube, it's much more easy to touch up without having to really check too much in the mirror. Now, having said all that, I am just going to go straight into the lip swatches, and I will check back in again at the end of the video. So some of my final thoughts. In terms of the color pairings for many of these shades in the Layering Lip Bar collection, I do find that they are very much more coordinated, as in the deep and the light shades are not too far apart in tone, so you don't get a crazy stark contrast on your lips. It makes it very much easier to just swipe on a shade and go without worrying that it looks, unblended or that it's not sitting nicely on your mouth. So these are definitely a lot easier to wear for the average makeup beginner. One sort of funny thing that I noticed with the layering lip bars that I didn't experience with the two-tone lip bars was that I had trouble getting the deepest and lightest shades on my lips at the same time. If you haven't noticed, I do have smaller lips, so I did have a little bit of a difficulty making sure that I could get the deepest shade on the insides of my mouth while not going too far out with the lightest shades on the outside. So I was forced to pretty much overdraw with every single shade, Hindash style, with the shine on the tops of the Cupid's bow, which I don't really mind. Most of these shades look quite nice that way, but it's just something to take note of if you have smaller lips like me. It's just something I never noticed with the two-tone lip bars because there are only two colors, and as long as you hit the center of the tube with your lips, you're pretty much good to go. Whereas with the layering lip bars, you have 6 shades, so if you're not careful, you kind of only apply the middle of the tube and you miss the deepest and palest shades. Pigmentation-wise, I definitely find the layering lip bars to be far superior to the two-tone lip bars. I got very much instant coverage for most of these shades. There was not a lot of building up to do. I was swiping back and forth mainly to blend out the color and make sure I got the edges neat, not because I needed more color. Whereas for a lot of these shades in the two-tone lip bar line, I do have to build up the color a little bit more and make sure I get intensity and true color payoff. I find these to be a little bit thinner, less melty and slick feeling than the original two-tone creamy lip bars, so they're much less likely to smear and get messy around your mouth. So that is another plus in my book. As for the shade selections, I had initially been worried that the layering lip bars would have a lot of overlaps because when you're just looking at them in the tube, there are quite a few shades that look sort of similar to one another, the rosy, reddy, pinky tones. But I was quite surprised after putting them on that most of them do seem to be quite different. Aside from a couple of the orangey red tones which were a little bit similar to one another, I do find there is a very nice spread of shades in the layering lip bar collection, all the way from nudes to even sort of coppery brown tones. That one I was surprised to see. As a matte lover, I do kind of hope that they will expand the matte shade selection in future, but I'm very happy with the overall selection so far. I like almost every single shade. Now I did notice that some of the cooler tone shades were a little bit clashy against my eye makeup, but that is my fault because I wore a slightly warmer toned eye look today and neutral cheeks. I probably should have gone with neutral eyes just because I was swatching so many lip shades, and most of them would probably sit well with a neutral eye. I don't really have anything bad to say about this new line. I love the color selection, I love the creams, I love the mattes. I like the shade options. I love how easy it was to blend. I didn't go in with my finger on any of the lip swatches today, so you can see that they are easy to work with, they are comfortable to wear. I love a lot of the bright colored options, but they had very beautiful soft tones and also some deeper tones as well. Now 2 days ago I wore one of the cream shades out and I didn't have any bleeding or problems with it smearing all over the place even though I wasn't wearing a lip liner, so I don't think that is too much of a concern. I think the only possible minor problem would be that it's a little bit hard to tell what shade you have just looking at the tube because the print is extremely tiny. If you notice, I have a little sticker on the back of every single tube of my two-tone lip bars because it was just so hard to see the print on the bottom of the tubes. And considering these do not have a color indicator either, you're gonna have to spend a little bit of time trying to read what's printed on the bottom. But I'm really nitpicking at this point. I do like this product a lot, and the $39 price tag is not cheap, but then again, this is very, very high-end quality for a $39 lipstick compared to most of the $40, $50 ones. It's comparable formula. At the end of the day, ombre lips are not for everyone, but if you happen to like a gradient effect, LANEIGE is the brand to go to for ombre lipsticks. So what else can I say? Anyway, as always, I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.